And welcome everyone to Sports on Tap Extra. I am Noah Jacobson, and tonight we are joined by the 2025 Rocky River Pirates baseball head coach Ed Piazza, who just wrapped up his third season as the head coach of the Pirates. Coach, thank you for taking the time to join me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, Coach, obviously going back to 2024, you guys won the GLC West Conference. You guys going to the playoffs. You guys fell short in the district finals last year against Padua, but it felt like in 2025, your program had a lot to prove this season. You know, you guys went 20-9, came up just short in the CWC in the first year runner up against Buckeye and that. But you start off in the playoffs, you start off against going up against the number 36 seed Cuyahoga Falls in the actual final. You win that game 2-1. And then you face off against the 37th seed Brush. You win that game 4-1 in the district semifinals. And then you go into the district finals going up against the number 3 seed Archbishop Holben Knights. And you win that game as a 13th seed, beating them 4-1, claiming your first district championship since 1999. You go to the Crusher Stadium for the regional semifinals. You lose a tough game to the number 1 seed Toledo St. Francis de Sales 6-5. But a good effort, though, I felt like, for your program that shows the testament to what you guys were able to accomplish this season. But just trying to talk about how this season went for you guys overall.
It was, again, we had our banquet the other night and we went over a lot of stuff. Coming into the season, our goal was to go farther, but it was also we just didn't want to be that one hit wonder from the year before. And with 10 seniors coming back, you didn't know what you were going to get. And at the beginning of the year, and I call us, I don't know, it was different trying to find the leaders because we lost 5 extraordinary leaders from the year before. And we had such a talented group that you're trying to find somebody to step forward and lead them because for 4 years, they've been followers. And so once that came, and I called it a dysfunctional family at first, it was just one of those where you're just waiting for it to click in. And I think everybody was just trying to be that individual, to be the one to, it wasn't leadership, but they just were trying to take the step forward and be the one to keep it going. And then it just happened after the North Ridgeville game where we got beat pretty bad. It was it was an 8-run inning, and it just, you could tell the kids' body language changed, and they were kind of questioning themselves. And we had that big team meeting, and I don't know what it was. Is they were thinking that it was coming to an end or whatever. But when you get kids that are starting questioning the coaching and their ways the right way and all that other stuff, but then it just clicked, and they took off and they won, like I said, 10 out of the last 12 games of that season. And when we beat Buckeye the first time, it just was going back and forth. We just couldn't get over those. If they made a mistake, everybody would go down, and it would just lead to more than those crooked numbers that the other team would put up. And but going in, we also wanted to beef up the schedule. We wanted to make sure the Padua stuff didn't come back to haunt us, because it's not that the schedule was that much easier the year before, but I just wanted us tested early and all season. I mean, we opened up against Amherst, the number 1 team, and they're playing for a state championship tomorrow. We played a lot of those Southwest Conference teams that I used to play when I was at Elyria, and we knew it was going to give us those tough games. And I told the kids, we may not win 23 games, but our goal is still, to get past that district final. And right after that North Ridgeville game, it just took off, and it was it just was a lot of adversity. And being kids, they're kids. They're 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that but I'm telling you what, once they gathered up and those 10 seniors started leading and starting, even playing defense, and just it just getting big hits, or everybody different came through it all the time. So it was so great to see. So
Yeah, definitely. And even talk, I don't even talk about some of those seniors, Josh, Reese, Griffin, Michael, Matt, Henry. I feel like they've made a big impact for your team this season. But just kind of have some of the other impact players that your team was able to make this season.
yeah, we had another senior that we brought up last year for the districts. Henry was kind of struggling last year, and at the end of the year, and he's such a kid that is a perfectionist that he was just battling and battling. So we brought this senior Brady Pastoris up, and I like how Brady is because Brady just goes in and he's just a good kid that nothing bothers him and whatever. And he had a phenomenal district semi and district final game, and kind of solidified that third base spot. And this year, he started out tough. He was our DH going into the season, and he hit a home run against Lakewood. And after that, or it was North Olmsted or something, but my assistant coaches go, it's either going to go one way or the other, or it's either he's going to struggle or he's going to be on fire. And he started battling himself a little bit. So, but Brady, he had probably the most walk-offs in the last 2 years of anything. He was a great pinch hitter. And then the regional semi against Toledo St. DeSalles, we're down 2-1. And, it was, we lost 2-1, but he pinch hit, and we thought it was gone. And it just got under a little bit, and the wind was just held it up. So that's the second time at Crusher Stadium that he almost had a home run to left field. He just nailed them both. And there was nobody else I could believe that, because he goes in, he just doesn't think about things. And he was another big one. And Elliot Hibschman, he played right field for us, and phenomenal arm in the outfield, fast, and he bats ninth, and people think he can't hit, but with runners on base, he was second on our team to Josh Maumers with a 469 batting average when guys are on base. So, and he started the rally against Toledo. And St. Francis he laid down a great bunt. They weren't even ready for it, beat it out, and we had bases loaded at that time, ready to go, and we just couldn't get that big hit to do it. But those two guys as seniors, and I know you mentioned Matt Gattia, but they're just, Joe Brandt was a senior pitcher, and last year he was all conference, and he had a back injury this year and tried to battle through, but still had a great year, 3-2. And he's my main reliever that come out of the bench, out of the bullpen if somebody didn't do something. And I had the Hoban game. Reese ran out of pitches, and he was out in the bullpen. It was like every inning when we were up to bat, he was throwing like an inning himself. So he was completely ready to finish. And I know it was one out, but bases loaded, and you come in out of the bullpen. He did a phenomenal job. And that it's a kind of group that, I've had for 3 years, that it's hard to, explain all their things. Every one of them did something to help us at one point in this season and stuff. So it was phenomenal with those guys. And we have a few juniors. We have a sophomore, my catcher, Jeff Maslar. He's going to be a big time college prospect. Great arm. He's been starter since his freshman year. Dylan Kanalnik was our rookie of the year this year. It was his first year starting in outfield. But it's a close-knit group. And so it's sad to see these guys leave, but they're the ones that started this culture change. And I'm hoping it carries over with these younger guys and stuff now.
For sure. And I'm sure the community for the Rocky River has to be so proud, with the support that they have given you throughout the district finals and at Crusher Stadium. Just talk about how the Rocky River community really showed up for you guys throughout the course of the district finals, the regional semifinals, and throughout the whole regular season.
Oh, it was unbelievable. We were just talking, me and the athletic director Mark Wagner, how many people showed up for those two games. Mr. Wagner couldn't make the district finals, but we had our principal there, Brian Gergley, and the amount of people that showed up, it was. I think, and I know I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but I thought it was more than the Crushers get at their games. On our side, it was just packed. There was people that I haven't seen, but the best part about it is the last time when they won district, Coach Rucky was the head coach, and he showed up and he came down and wished you luck. And seeing the 1998-99 team, some of those alumni, the school board that was there, and um, it was great. And that's why when we did win districts, instead of going to talk to the kids, I sent them over to thank all the fans. And even at Crusher Stadium, we sent them over to thank everybody, because everybody has said they haven't seen that many people at a game at Rocky River ever, even when they were going to state. But I'm sure down there at state they had a ton of people too and stuff. But that's what is so satisfying to us is, yeah, we're disappointed we lose 2-1, and but we had everything set up the way we want. And I've had community people text me and say how great your kids were. And um, there was a guy that played for Coach Don Kelly back in the day, and he's been around our program this year, Byron Spooner. And, it's great talking to these guys and all the alumni that you've talked to. You see them at the alumni game, and um, you feel, you know, very great that they can come and say, hey, you've done a great job here. And it's brought back Rocky River baseball. We started a travel program, and we had 178 kids from 8 years old to 13 come out now. And we have a youth day, and um, it's great seeing all these people and all these coaches, and we run camps for them and go see them, and all those kids come up to you all the time. And football was big there, and it still is. And but we want us to be a sport there too, and that was our goal when we got here. And I think we've changed it, and I hope that culture stays the same.
Coach, you guys weren't the only CWC team to be able to reach the Sweet 16. Lakewood, they won their first district title since 1992. And you and Coach Graves have gone at it this season, I think, twice in the extra innings. And I'm sure that was an exciting match to go on up against him. But it's time to talk about how awesome it is just to have two CWC teams in the inaugural season to get to the Sweet 16 this year. And how much does it show how competitive the league is in its first year overall?
Oh, it was both Coach Graves and myself. We were texting each other through this, and even Coach Wolf of Buckeye. I mean, they got to the district final, and when that first year and you're playing each other, and that's no slouches that of the other teams, but Westlake was good, and Coach Mosley over there. The best thing is, and Coach Wolf said this in our conference meeting, he just said how he's happy with and proud of all the coaches and all the work they put in with their programs, and to make this a really good conference. And I've been in some really tough ones when I was at Elaria, but I just say, when you play Buckeye and you got a Scotty DeMarco and Nolan Klingbeil, and then you got Lakewood when you got Logan Ellis and all that. But, you got our guys, Michael Perry and Reese Heigl, and And you can split with all those teams, and it gets you ready for whatever all this is. And I know nobody gave us a chance against Hoban, and they have an incredible program. And I know Coach Carmichael there gave us the ultimate compliment, and he was so classy when that happened. And so it prepares us. That's why, again, even our non-conference schedule, we went against teams that, it's going to battle us, even going over to Avon, and they were so highly ranked at that time. And yeah, I know they lost their number one, but we would never face them in a non-conference game anyway. But uh, the kids take on that challenge, and they did a great job. And it is because of our conference. Day in and day out, you don't know. Normandy beat us this year, so it's not like there's slouches and stuff. And all the coaches, I was told when I got to Rocky River, Bay is your rival. You can't, but you know, uh, coach over there, Ben, is like a great guy. It's like, how can you not like the guy as a coach? And he's supposed to be your rival. But it is a good conference, and I'm so you hate to lose the other teams that we lost in there, but it day in and day out, and playing that back to back is tough at the beginning of the week. But if you don't have your day on in those days and you're not ready to play, you're going to get beat. So,
Coach, you've been coaching for 30 years. You've coached 200 plus wins. You've been coaching at Elyria and Columbia. You just wrapped up your third year at Rocky River. What are some of the biggest differences that you've had from how you started 30 years ago to now just finishing up your third year at Rocky River to now?
Yeah, it is a big change for me because I am pretty old school. Um, I know my coaches, I tell everybody every day, I'm probably the hardest person to work for. I tell the kids I'm probably one of the hardest to play for. Um, and back in the day, you can go 3 hours of a practice, or you can, you're driving it, and you're just trying to mentally prepare them, hold them accountable. And it's just, I see myself this year, and my assistant was telling me, he goes, I think you give these kids more days off now than you ever have in your career. And the thing is, if they, back in the day, they played those sports, but they were multi-sport players, but they didn't know how to manage their time. And when I got to Rocky River, you wouldn't believe how many texts I got that saying, "Why Rocky River? Why are you going there?" And um, at first, it was a challenge, and I know I love challenges. I think our program is what we do in our program is a college style program that I knew if the kids bought in. We played them every year when I was at Elyria, and you see the type of kids, but these kids at Rocky River are different from the passes. You could practice them 3 hours and they would still go home and do their homework. They manage their time so great. Um, the other difference is, and I was told this by Ken Finnick when I was at Elyria, is you're going to be successful if your program, your parents buy in, the school supports you, you do your thing, and they let you coach. And at Rocky River, it's that. Um, of course, you're going to have some parents that there's some problems or whatever. Everybody wants their kid to play, but they let me coach. And I'm sure they're upset, but I wasn't called in the office. I wasn't saying, hey, Joey should be playing. And that was the main reason I went there is Dr. Schoaf, Sam Gifford, Mark Wagner, Rob Winton, and Brian Gergley. I've never been through a interview process like that stuff. And just listening to them and the support that they were going to give the program, it was a no-brainer. And they let me coach, and they took care of all the discipline with the parents. And back in the older days, it just was, you can get on them and there was no problems. But as you're getting here is Johnny wouldn't do that. Johnny doesn't do that. You got to pamper Johnny. But here it's just been phenomenal. Like I had no problems in the last 2 years of parents. They just supported you. And I could be yelling at their kid or, we get on their kid, we practice forever, and you wouldn't get a phone call. You wouldn't get all that. And it's such, Coach Finnick was right. That's how a good program is. And my job is to prepare them for life after. Some may not go on and play baseball, but uh, they're going to be ready for colleges. And I still get calls from kids from the days. They go, I thought you were a jerk in high school, but now I see what you were doing. And weddings, their births of their sons and daughters and stuff like that. I'm still, because they know no matter what I do to them or hold them accountable, discipline, whatever, that the next day I'm going to give them a hug, and they know I love every single one of the kids in the program. So that's been the best part about it. It rejuvenated me coming here. I was, like I said, at Larry, I was retiring. I was done. It sucked everything out of me. And, but this has just been phenomenal. And I'm just glad to see the success for these kids. They deserve it. And, they bought in, and that's how it's been. It's been the most enjoyable 2 years. And actually, even the year after my first year there, it was an enjoyable. The kids were great. And it's just been a total different atmosphere. And where I've been, Columbia, I love Columbia. I just went and took a different step, wanted to move up in the thing. I would have never left there. Me and superintendent there are still great friends, and the baseball coach, um, love the guy to death. And then and it's not all bad. It wasn't all bad, Illyria. It's one of those things. But their AD there still keep in touch with the coach that took my place as a former player. And but just the relationships over the years has been the best part about this 30 some years together and stuff. And I got coaches in my program that have players in the past. Tristan Arnold played for me at Illyria. He's my JV coach and assistant varsity. TJ Staten, I coached him since he's 9, then he goes on and plays in the pros. And it's just a family thing that we try to create and make sure the parents are part of everything. And I've just, it's just been so much fun.
Very well put, Coach. And I want to thank you for taking the time and joining me at your night to really talk about the program. Again, what a great season you guys had, 20-9, and accomplishing your first district championship since 1999 says a lot about what your program accomplished this year.
Yes, we are very proud, and I do appreciate all that. So thank you for the coverage. And it was anytime we can promote Rocky River, I'm there. So thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you.